Hello, everybody. Welcome to Moe'S CD Culture Show and Tell. And on this episode, I'm talking about an artist that I've known basically since childhood. It's been in the we had the LP in our household since I was a baby. Since I could remember. I There's always been certain albums. Okay, growing up in the first 3 to 5 years of my formative years of life, from being born to about the age of 5, there was certain records that we had in our household that just had such a significant. I mean, eventually, came the Kissing That, but this next album, which is T for the Tillerman. We've had that record, you know, in our house since I was born. I remember it's probably one of the earliest records I remember us having in the household. So I became very very familiar with this album. Even like almost 2 decades, like 20 years later, we kind of still had the record. I mean, it eventually got wrecked enough. It had so many skips and scratches by the time we were finished with it. But we played the we I at least me I know I played this a lot when we were a kid. I mean, it was I'm capped. I like his voice. I like his melodies. You know, it it didn't matter that it was soft music. And that eventually I would become like a Kiss fan, and then eventually a metalhead, and then a Tool fan. But it starts off with a great track called "Where Do the Children Play," and then "Hard Headed Woman," the ever popular "Wild World," "Sad Lisa," one of my personal favorites, "Miles from Nowhere," "But I Might Die Tonight," and I like singing that. I actually sing that a lot to myself. Especially when I'm working. It's only like a 2 minute song, so I love those lyrics. And then there's "Longer Boats," "Into White," "On the Road to Find Out," "Father and Son," which is fun to sing, and then "T for the Tillerman," the final song, the title track. And I like the whole thing. I love everything on this. It's Yeah, I played that a lot. You get to the point where you become so familiar with the skips. So when I got this the first time on CD, and I played it, and it's the first time I heard that record in a long time that and it sounded weird, but it sounded awesome because there was no skips. There was no like cracks and pops, and all that debris that damage that original LP took. I got to experience the album the way it was meant to be heard for the first time. It's like so, and that's why I so love CDs so much and want to and talk about them on my channel. You know, I like what Smoke Dog had said about me. When he did my shout out, I like talking about my music. Yeah, I do. What's not to like to talk about? It's Music is fantastic. It ah Life would be a mistake if we had no music. Music is life. It gives life meaning. It makes movies unboring. You know, any movie you watch that didn't have that music in there, it would be so far less interesting. It's not funny. But this is the only actual album I have of Cat Stevens. There are so many others I really wish I could get, like the Foreigners, like Foreigner 4 or whatever it's called. Yeah, there's other stuff, but I do have a couple of other CDs, and this is one of my great. If it's the greatest hits, and I really love having this greatest hits because it has my favorite Cat Stevens song of all time on it, which I will get to. But again, it has Wild World, has Oh Very Young, Can't Keep It In, which is awesome. I love singing these songs too. Hard Headed Women, Moon Shadow, and then my personal all-time favorite is track number 6, Two Fine People. And again, eventually this was in our household in record form, and I played this a lot too when we finally got this on record, and especially Two Fine People. I really love that song. It's my favorite track. But then you would turn the record over, and it would be side 2, and then it would start with Peace Train, then have Ready, Father and Son, Sitting, Morning Has Broken, and Another Saturday Night. Yeah, that's a great greatest hit, especially because it has Two Fine People on it. I like again. This is something I like to put on if I'm taking a bath or, you know, uh, cleaning around the house. And it's I like music I can sing along to sometimes, and sometimes not. Sometimes I just like to put it instrumental, so I don't have to think about lyrics, and I can focus on other stuff too. But I'm not done yet. I couldn't it couldn't be complete if I don't have the other studio LPs of Cat Stevens. I try to get at least the best stuff. I think I bought this secondhand, but it's the best of Cat Stevens, the 20th Century Masters collection, the Millennium collection, and this has starts off with The Wind, and then again it'll be 3 times I have this now, Wild World. So I have that song 3 times on 3 different CDs, but all by the same artist. Oh Very Young, I have that again. Where Do Children Play? Hard Headed Woman, Moon Shadow, Peace Train, Father and Son, Sitting. And the reason I have this is How Can I Tell You? Because I don't have that on the other ones. There's Morning Has Broken, and the final track, the first cut, is the deepest. Which again is the reason why I would have this, because to have those tracks. Again, fantastic artist, Cat Stevens. If you don't know Cat Stevens, it's something I grew up very early on in my life knowing, basically right from birth, because that first album, Tea for the Tillerman, that was November of 1970. I was born in January of 1971. So, I know this was in the house when I was born and played as a baby and growing up. So I've always known about this and a few other, bands. I always had to have those particular. I'm going to do a special episode of my childhood memory albums, and because I have pretty much all of those on CD. That is going to be a very special presentation coming soon. Oh yeah, I got to do that very soon. So, but I want to actually talk about all the bands first before I do that special. So that is a little ways coming, but it will come soon enough. Once I get those other couple of bands out of the way that I need to talk about. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up for another episode of Moe'S CD Culture Show and Tell. Again, I want to urge you, if you like, I would really appreciate it if you could, subscribe to my channel. Please leave a like, leave comments. I love comments. And everybody, have a good evening, day, night, morning, if that, wherever you may be. Be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side, and have a good one. Later.